words, but so the last two videos is intelligence, and this last one on society and the savage, and that we almost implying that it's society that has made us, and to me that's I would have gone with the first word. Intelligence has made us. Intelligence stops us from being a savage. You could be alone on a desert island, and as long as you have a Dr. Seuss book to learn how to read and write English, and then you have a few other books to learn how to be a human being, you can be one. I think the savage would still be capable of imagination and curiosity and all these things. He just needs enough food to build that out of, especially the artistic part. I guess I don't think you need much intelligence to find that in yourself, imagination and such. Obviously you can't imagine a Buck Rogers world unless you have something to build that on. You need some understanding of mechanical things and all the rest of that, but I think you could certainly have a vivid imagination. You could certainly do a lot of erroneous thinking as a savage, and I think a lot of animals do that. I think they're munching on their grass. Sometimes a gorilla, I think, is lost in a little daydream, and he's thinking about an adventure, or maybe picking up a lion and tossing him in a pond, and who knows? I mean, what sort of little stories he makes for himself. But I can't credit society. I mean, society to me is a bad word. It's only a tiny percent of society that has taken the savage out of us. A very minute percentage. Most of society is crass and cruel and crude, as bad as nature. It conditions us sloppily and recklessly, and it's fake and phony and a lie. And there's this little percentage of society, this percentage of individuals, this chain of individuals throughout history that has faced prison and all kinds of abuse and harassments to bring the truth to mankind. And a lot of people died for their truth, and the Inquisition and the rest of it. I mean, there's nothing. I'm never going to thank society as a word, or all of mankind as a concept, because most of mankind has just been a shithead, has been a savage, and it's been, like I said, this minority of mankind that has fought that and kept us from going nowhere, from being stuck in the Stone Age, from living on a flat Earth. So that's just an objection to a word, I guess. I just, I'll beat up on society because society sucks, and society's probably going to get us destroyed before we ever get to do the most we can do with this intelligence. I think we're doomed. I mean, I don't really see how you can combine a bigger and better hammer, a nuclear hammer, with these morons who just want to whap everything with a hammer. And that's their solution. Let's just pick up this Stone Age club and beat it to death. They have no capacity to do anything in an intelligent and disciplined and cautious manner. It's just all this reckless crap that runs the world. Reckless notions of economic systems. It's not become, the economic system's not becoming more intelligent and sophisticated. It's becoming simpler and more savage, and that's a pretty bad commentary on society and what society is doing and where it's going. So, we've disagreed on words before, but yeah, I got nothing nice to say about society, not a damn thing. And as for intelligence, intelligence is like society in the sense that you glean this little bit of perfectly arranged. It's almost like intelligence, if you looked at it as there's certain arrangements of intelligence that just a magnificent arrangement, like a DNA protein or whatever. It's an arrangement of matter, and in the arrangement of ideas and the arrangement of words and the arrangement of concepts, you glean this little percentage that are just perfect concepts, intelligent concepts, well-ordered bits of stuff, whatever the stuff is. It's the fact that you arrange it in an order and and that creates intelligence. So in your comparison with snails and such, and speculating what their intelligence is, I mean, some of the intelligence you were displaying with the snail was basically a reflex, I'd say. So I guess I can't say it's the same kind of intelligence that we perceptually have, in the sense that our reflexes, we feel them, but we don't feel them. We feel them in a feedback loop. We don't really, we're not consciously aware necessarily of exactly what's taking place, because it's just some sort of action that takes place, and we recognize that an action took place, but we don't really consciously experience the action before it takes place. And a snail might very well have the same thing. I mean, as I speculate about life, I mean, there's certain things that seem, there's a certain order to what consciousness is made out of, and I would say that feeling was sort of an early aberration of the brain, in the sense that it was a way of creating condensing reality into a simpler reality that an organism could react to, and somehow in the development of the brain there was these two sides, the side that became the perceptual and the kind of side that became the reactive. And I think the perceptual would always have to have that. I think our thoughts, no matter how objective the reasoning and rationale, they always influence our emotions. There's emotion tied to thoughts. I can discuss something, and like I say, you say the word society, and I have an emotional reaction to that word that is beyond just my logical explanation of why I think a certain way about the word. But the emotion is there, and so even the purest part of our intellect is still tied to the emotion, and that's sort of how the brain uses intelligence. I mean, this acquired little bits of ordered behavior. These little, we have billions of cells, and so they consolidate into millions of emotions, particular feelings tied to particular items in there, memories and whatnot, and even our conditioning. So it's like these different stages of brain, and it's hard to say where, with what organism it starts, and with what organism it has self-awareness. Even this is even a tricky word, because I think to some extent the gorilla is self-aware. Like I said, I think they enjoy daydreaming. I think they they perceive themselves as a center of a universe, and as a as a being, as a thing, and they understand that in that sense. I mean, as well as we would probably in their circumstance, without a language and all the stuff society gives you through that. But I mean, it's probably a very irrelevant point as to when all this begins, but it's important to understand it and appreciate it. But I guess my focus is always going to be on trying to get people to understand that the savage isn't us without ignorance. I mean, intelligence. It's just that the savage is us. We are the savage, and we're just an educated savage. And so there's always going to be this competition between this native programming that's still there and the conditioning that is arbitrary and stupid, and then this last beast that's here that has this capacity to know things, knowledge. And knowledge is just this little bit of society. It's this little tiny bit of perfect that has been, discovered